In today's video, we are going to be talking about fun decorative accessories you can make for your home. Hi, I'm Jamieson-Hirst of Chatterbox Quilts, and today I'm taking a look at Zakka Sewn Stitch, Quilt, Share and Love 20 Plus projects, and it's by Rashida Coleman-Hale. I want to send a big thank you to C&T Publishing, who published Zakka Sewn, because they sent me this copy so I could share it with you. So let's take a look at what's inside the book. So let's dive into this because there's lots of different projects in here. Some are quilting projects, some are sewing projects, but they're all fun little projects. So when you first come to the front of the book, you can see that there is contents shown, okay? Obviously, there's usually an index at the front that shows you what's in there. What I like is that you can actually see the different projects in here, and they each have the page number. Of course, you see that here as well, where you can find the information on how to make that particular project. So I really like this. It makes it easy to go to the one you want to make. Let's say I want to make this little placemat here. I know I can go to page 69 and all the instructions are going to be there. I don't have to leaf through the book to find it. So it makes it really easy to access the project information in the book. Now, when we start off here, you might wonder, what does Zakka mean? Because you may have heard it, but you may not have heard it. So it's a Japanese word that means miscellaneous goods. But it is so much more than that. The concept of Zakka combines functionality and beauty to bring joy and style to your daily life. It's about finding happiness in the little things in life, such as handmade crafts, cozy home decor, and random items that just make you happy when you look at them. So if you didn't know what Zakka is, now you do. So you can see why Rashida has included the projects she has in this book, because some of them are really cute, but they're all very great decorative items to have around your home. So to start off, before she even gets into the project, she talks about the tools and materials she's using. And I love how she has a shout out here to Bernie and Shelley Tobisch on their recent book that's called The Ultimate Guide to Sewing Machine Feet. Because if you want to know about your sewing machine feet and how to use them properly to get the results you want, that's a great book to have. But that's another video that I've done previously. So if you're interested in that book, check up above in the description below and I'll put a link to it. But you always want to have your sewing machine in good working order, as Rashida suggests too, so that it's going to perform well and you're going to enjoy making the projects. She works with different kinds of fabric, and she talks about those in the book too. Not just cotton, linen as well. And she does talk about cotton in here, and also cotton cord that she uses. So she goes over the types of fabric that she's using and any information that you should be aware of when you're using those types of fabrics. Then she gets into the different techniques. So she talks right from the start about squaring up your fabric so that all your cuts are going to be nice and straight. She talks about cutting squares, rectangles, so all that information's in the front of the book. So you're very well set up to make these projects and make sure that they turn out successful. And then, of course, you get into the projects, because that's really what it's all about, right? So the first one here, she has these different sections. This one's called Home. This is the oblong pillow, she calls it. It's a different shape. It's sort of like an oblong, but it's round as well, right? So it's got this little pillow here. It reminds me of having little eyes on it, actually. I would think it's like a little person almost sitting there in the chair when I look at it. So very cute. She tells you all the information you need to make it. Not difficult projects in the book, but you know, ones you can whip up and show off some of the fabrics that you really love. A lot of these would make great gifts as well. Then you get into the onigiri pillow. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I may not be. Japanese isn't my first or second or third language, but you can see it's like a little kind of rounded triangle pillow. So you've got some different pillows in the front part of the book, and then the quatrefoil pillow as well with the 4 here. So I think making them here, like she has this trio of pillows, I think making them all would be really fun and have them thrown around on your couches and chairs and that. And again, great way to show off fabrics that you love, because they're all made with one single fabric. So it's not like you're piecing things together and making these pillows. So show off those fabrics you love, right? Then we get into some quilting. This is called the Scrappy Wall Hanging. She has 4 different colorways she uses in this quilt. You could make it super scrappy, I suppose, but the thought behind this is you have the 4 different colorways, so you can see them in those 4 quarters of the circle. So a small wall hang at 24 inches square. Again, these are not huge projects for the most part. So it doesn't take you that long to make them, hence why they make good gifts, right? If you need a last minute gift, a lovely floral wall hang in the colors of your recipient's choice, or the preferences they have for color, would whip up, I should say, quite easily. It's 10 by 18 inches. Very cute. Another one she has that's kind of interesting is this knotted door decor. So this is just something you can put on your door handle. It makes it, you know, just a little more decorative. Again, you can use different fabrics that you like, that you want to see. Very easy to make, but quite pretty, I thought. Wouldn't that be nice in like a Christmas fabric? You put on your door handles. Do you put things on your door handles at Christmas? I do. I have lots of things on those door handles, or even knobs on cabinets or bookcases, things like that. That would also work well there. Then we have another quilt. So this is probably the biggest project in the book at 60 inches square, this Brilliance quilt. This project I think would be really great to work on your accurate 1/4 inch seams, because look at all the little seams in here. Again, not difficult to make, but there's quite a bit of piecing in here. Nice, bright, happy quilt. You could change out the colors, of course, but as you notice, she's usually working with the same color, just a light and a dark with it. Not always. Here we have different colors, but in some of these, you're working with a very similar color. The yellows here, for example, and you're just making sure you have that contrast so the pattern shows up. Another one here is, okay, I lied. This one's actually 68 inches square, a little bit bigger. Circle Gets a Square quilt. I thought this was really fun. This is the kind of project that is really great if you love to do quilting, like ruler quilting or free motion quilting, because you've got lots of opportunity in the center of these circles, of course the background as well, but lots of opportunity to show off some really fun motifs in this particular project, and a great way to learn some curved piecing. Now, something else she has in here is some, if you want to call them, practical projects. So here's the Half Moon Oven Mitt. I have always wanted to make one of these, I've got to say, because I think they're so clever. You just protect your hand, you use it, you know, just one hand and grab your baking sheets out. This is only 6 inches by 6.5 inches, so you could probably use some of your scraps to make this, right? Very quick and easy. Again, this would make a good gift. It seems a bit weird, but if you combine this with some, you know, homemade cookies or something like that, would be kind of fun, I think. Then we have the Crossroads placemat. These are 12 inches by 18 inches, so a really good size on these. I thought these were really cool. Again, you've got the opportunity to do some really fun quilting in there, but they're quite simple, but yet they're really effective. You got this little patchwork going on in there, that little 4 patch in the center as you put it together. You can see a bit better here. Just simple, but quite pretty, I thought. Again, great gift, 4 of them for a housewarming, 6 of them, whatever, how many you need for that particular person. Another section here is accessories. There's a favorite project pouch. So this is 10 inches in diameter by 10.5 inches tall. This is a great way to carry your tools with you, or, you know, whatever you may need. Like, it may not be quilting tools. I could see using knitting needles and yarn in this bag. I think would be really handy. As you can see it here. Well, see, there's yarn right there. There we go. There's also a capsule bag that she calls this. So it says, sometimes you need an extra bag for all of the fabric that you buy. I love that. So compact travel bag folds onto itself, making it easy to have it just in case. So it's always nice. Actually, when I travel, I take an extra bag with me all the time in case I buy things. It might be fabric that I buy sometimes that won't fit my suitcase and I need to take as a carry-on. So I like this idea a lot, actually. This is 17 inches wide by 13 inches tall by 7.25 inch deep. And it's got the straps on it as well, but it's all going to fold up. They have the zipper pocket on here at the front, and it's all going to go inside that pocket eventually. And then you can, you know, have it all concise and be able to carry it that way. Then as we keep going through the book, she has another case here. It says, "Hey lady, sewing case." That was quite funny. So if you like to take your supplies with you, especially great if you're doing handwork, right? If you're doing hand embroidery, English paper piecing, that type of thing, it's great to have all your tools with you. And you can see you've got lots of space here for all your tools, pockets, zippered area as well. So a really handy practical project again. Now this one here, this is a knotted headband. You may not be aware, but I don't usually wear headbands, okay? Okay, why would I wear a headband, right? But what caught my eye about this particular one is actually, while this is made as a headband, I think you could change it slightly and you could have this as a necklace, because I purchased a necklace that looks very much like this, and it has the knotting at the front, and it makes a really cool statement necklace actually. So that's what I was thinking of when I looked at this. Not necessarily a headband, but you could wear it as a necklace. I would probably change it and not put some of the elastic at the back of it to do that, and just have it go over your head probably. All right, there's one more project I wanted to show you here. This is the Cassandra crossbody bag. This is 10 inches by 8.5 inches, so not huge. This is great to use when you're traveling. She says, I love a good crossbody bag. So including one was a must. It has a zippered pocket inside, perfect for a night out or running errands around town. So yes, I love a crossbody bag as well. And this would be great to hold, you know, just a few things. It's not huge, obviously, but if you're out traveling or something and you just need to have some credit cards, some cash, you know, keys maybe, something like that on you, this would be really handy to take. And again, it's a project with one fabric on it, so great to show off a fabric that you really love. You could even make several of them to match different outfits if you wanted to, right? What about that? All right, when you get to the back of the book, you can find templates for all the projects that are in the book. Now, some of these have to be enlarged, which, if you know me, you know I don't like to have to enlarge templates. However, not to worry, you can either scan the QR code here, or they also give you the URL link where you can print these out at full size and just work with them that way. So if you're looking for some fun little projects to make to decorate your house, to show off some of your favorite fabrics, maybe to make some gifts as well, I highly recommend that you take a look at Zakka Sewn by Rashida Coleman-Hale. Now, I've talked about some of these projects here. You might be wondering, what else could I do if I want to make some small projects? Well, don't worry, I got you covered. Check out this video that has all the helpful information that you need. And for more helpful quilting information, be sure to go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com.